The UK faces a crisis of child-on-child sex abuse with a fundamental shift in offending. We're going to be reading into this exclusive from Sky News, guys. You will find some of this content distressing if it is too much for you. Sky News is granted exclusive access to a call centre which helps abuse victims as police chief warns that unless urgent action is taken, there's a risk of criminalising a generation of children. Now, before we dive into this, I want to make this clear. This is not specifically on in a certain section of society. This is about in the UK as a whole. We're talking about children who are suffering the most horrible and ordeal abuse here from some of the most nastiest people you could possibly imagine. And the fact that this happens in the UK is nothing short of disgraceful. And it is a failure of our police. It's a failure of communities, of people who hear about these stories and not enough action being taken about them. This should not be happening anywhere in the world, let alone here in the UK. And this is going to be uncomfortable to talk about. But the reason I'm covering this story is because I want people to know that this is happening in the UK. And to be clear, this is not about one specific group of people here. So children sexually abusing other children has become a crisis in the UK, experts have told Sky News. So like I said, this report contains details you will find distressing. This is why this video will not be monetized. The National Association for People Abused in Childhood, the NAPAC, said there has been a pronounced rise in child-on-child abuse. And the data for the group-based offending shows it is now more prevalent than incidents involving grooming gangs. The shocking statistics show there has been a fundamental shift in offending. NAPAC Chief Executive Gabrielle Shaw had told Sky News. The latest child sexual abuse and exploitation crime figures from the National Police Chief Council, the NPCC for England and Wales, show that where ages were recorded, 52% of all perpetrators were between the ages of 10 and 17. Some 41% of these related to indecent images of children. Most of these nude images were taken by teenagers of themselves before they are shared with a partner as part of an experimental behaviour. 52% of perpetrators of child sexual abuse aged 10 to 17 from 2023. Children sexually abused by other children, 39,049 in 2023. That's a source from the NPCC in 2023. But at the other end of the offending scale, 17% of sexual crimes that are committed against children by other children are rape offences. Richard Files, director of NPCC Child Sexual Exploitation Task Force, warns that consensual exchanging of intimate images can end up in coercion and blackmail, with easy access to violent pornography partly behind this disturbing trend in children abusing children. So this is groups based on sexual offending here. Famarole of 32%, child-on-child 24%, CSC 17%, others 11%, and unknown 6%. Institutional is 9% there. I don't care what anyone says, all these numbers are too high. For a generation of boys in particular, these are they very often see that as normal behaviour, told Sky News. They act it out with girls. Teenagers share indecent images of each other that may be recorded as crimes due to legal age of consent, according to Richard Felden. This is them inside the call centre on the front line here. I can't imagine what a incredibly hard job that is for them. I really do commend these people to I can't stress what that must be like for them. You have to have a real strong mind. There's a sure ring as the first call of the day comes in. You're through to someone you can talk to. As we said, we've been given exclusive access to the NAPAC's helpline in Stockport, where the call handlers speak to victims who have suffered all types of abuse. The man who has called at the helpline was so badly beaten as a child by his father that he was left with broken bones. The victim is now having to care for his elderly father, triggering painful memories. He just wanted a safe space, said call handler Claire Tong. He said, "Thank God there's people like you that I can talk to." The NAPAC support service hears from around 10,000 victims every year, and the organisation also works with police in responding to group-based sexual offending. Through the day at the helpline, we get a grim snapshot into the lives of ordinary people across the UK who have suffered unimaginable pain. Children ritually abused to raise demons. Sam Booth, who has worked at the NAPAC for a decade, first as a volunteer and now as a supervisor. She shows me the themes of last week's calls written on a whiteboard, and one hands out ritual abuse. You can see the board there, what they're using. "61 new callers, 121 calls. It's got a name there. I think it's Thames there. Sanatistic ritual abuse is abuse by a group of people, Sam says. They have robes on with hoods. They could be a child or a teenager. They could be ritually sexually abused to raise some kind of demon. Sam says multiple people have called, triggered by the smell of soil. As children, they have been buried to the point of death before being revived. Victims can be signposted to other services, for example, if they want to pursue legal action or therapy. Support can mean differences between life and death. Among those who have been helped by the NAPAC is Sadell, who was sexually abused by a biological father when she was a young child. Sadie, not her real name, said her childhood memories are the consistent feeling of being disassociated from your body, always having stomach aches, always feeling unclean. Saddle's email to the NAPAC, fully disclosing the abuse for the first time, was the crucial step towards getting direct support. For some victims, their calls could be different between life and death. The rise in young people seeking help. Exclusive data shared with Sky News shows that in 2014, NAPAC received 358 calls in which callers volunteered their age. 16 of those callers were between the ages of 19 and 24. That's 4.4%. Over the next decade, the percentage doubled. In 2014, there were 1,484 calls in which call volunteers at their age. 130 of those callers were aged 19 to 24. That's an 8.8% increase. This is increasing. More than half of these callers of all ages say they feel anxious or experience anxiety. Meanwhile, more than a third of callers say they feel isolated. Holly Asbus, who has worked for NAPAC for 3 years, says a conversation that stands out to her was a suicidal woman calling from a bridge. "We were probably on the phone for about an hour," she said, eventually told us her location, said Holly. "We reported it to the police. We often don't do that, but obviously when things escalate, we have a duty of care." All the NAPAC staff we spoke to admit being impacted by challenging calls every day, but they continue to handle them with empathy. That's really hard. You get a really good feeling when you get a caller talking to you about something that they've never told anyone, says Sam. You feel privileged that they're able to talk to you. Mr. Fowles said there is no easy solution to the crisis of children abusing children, but he believes better education for parents and young people is a crucial step in the right direction. The Home Office spokesperson said, "We are taking forward a wide range of actions to help prevent child sexual abuse, bring more offenders to justice and improve the support available to victims and survivors. A review is currently underway to look at the best way to support school staffing in handling cases of child sexual abuse. This is alongside the increased funding for the Lewis Faithfull Foundation, which works to prevent harmful sexual behaviour among children and young people." And for the NAPAC support, you can call 0808 1801 0331 or email them at support@napac.org.uk there. I cannot imagine the horrors that these children must go through. And the thing is, I've said that a child's mind is like a sponge, so it's hard for them to kind of dilute and understand why they're going through what they go through. It is hard. And to try and teach them that what they went through is wrong, and for them to be scarred by it for the rest of their lives, my heart really does bleed when you hear about things like this. And what's even worse is that it is getting worse currently. That's the thing that upsets me the most. And it's not just a case of police being able to respond. It's not just a case of the work that these people are doing. It really is down to education. It's really down to education and making sure that our parents raising children properly, our communities and areas aware of things like these happening. Are they responding to the right appropriate people about it? You know, there's a lot of things that more needs to be done. We shouldn't be sitting in silence when something like this occurs. This scars children for life. And it was hard to read for me. It really, really was hard to read. And it does make me feel really bad that this is something happening here in the UK. But it is happening, and something needs to be done about it. So if you got to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. If you can, if you want to leave a comment, please do. Like, share and subscribe, the usual stuff. But thank you very much for watching this, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.